Well, welcome to the DJ's Power Up podcast, and today I am joined by Matthew Campbell. How's it going, Matt?
Great, Daryl. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. And so, Matthew is a former DJ who is now the owner of My Wedding Songs, and he is a leader in wedding song ideas. Matthew publishes a wedding music newsletter, hosts a podcast, has published several books on wedding music planning, and even offers a one-on-one mastermind consultation. He has presented at large conferences like Wedding MBA, and he's a published writer in the Rolling Stone, DJ Time, and DJ Life magazine. And now he's a guest on this podcast.
Thanks, Daryl. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, My Wedding Songs, what would you say your mission of My Wedding Songs is?
So, two things. One is for the couples, one is for the wedding pros, just to educate people on the popular wedding songs, whether you're seasoned or just starting out. And the other side is to help couples plan their wedding songs, just to be that resource. And then also trying to create a community, but we all know that that's a little harder said than done.
Yeah, for sure. And how long has My Wedding Songs been in operation?
That is a great question. So I started in 2003. I started as Wedding Museum, which is a terrible name, and then in 2017 rebranded because I realized all my traffic was going to the wedding playlist that I created. So technically, January of 2017, almost you know 7 years now. So yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
That's awesome. So, what inspired you from transitioning from being a wedding DJ to being like a wedding music curator?
Well, I met my wife online in 1999 and or 1998. Moved from Montana to Vegas because she was here, I was there, and didn't really want to start up everything all over again. So I had a business degree, worked as a purchasing manager at electronic components company, and but still love music, still love DJing. So then I started what I called a broadline wedding planning site, was Wedding Museum. We You could create your own wedding website and everything. And I just decided that either I'm going to do this business or not. So in 2014, started working in a marketing company, and then learned all the SEO tricks and whatnot, and so built the site up that way, just to where we are today.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, it is so hard to move to a new town and start from scratch. I was just thinking about that because I heard you were saying it's like a little bit snowy in Las Vegas, but in Utah we talked about moving somewhere warmer, and I'm just like, man, if I had to like move and start over again, would I really want to restart my business? That'd be so hard. But I
Well,
think,
especially
yeah, go ahead.
especially back in the day, we had being DJing in Montana, you could get away most times with rock, country, top 40. And so one of the things that scared me moving here is all of the different cultures. We're such a melting pot in Las Vegas. Looking back, I wish I would have worked under somebody, but yeah, just to start over again, that's what scared me away from it.
I didn't even think about the cultural component about it because a wedding in Utah is going to be different than Miami or New York City or even Las Vegas. Yeah, that's great that you're able to offer this service. So, would you say that you mostly interface with prospective couples or with wedding pros?
Primarily wedding pros. That's one of the challenges of having a website. It's funny that you mentioned the mastermind because that's something that I just started probably a few weeks ago, just to try to connect with the couples. Of course, we have friends of friends that are getting married and talking to them about their music. But I'm always talking to wedding pros as to what the trends are in music. And then, just like every other DJ, trying to keep up with all the charts and whatnot to find out what's trending, what's not trending. I had this conversation not that long ago. What's going to happen 10 years from now? Because the music today that kids listen to it's so diverse. What is that going to look like? Where now, at least we have the 2000s, the 2010s music to fall back on. What's going to happen 10 years from now when everything is such a diverse music taste out there? It's going to be interesting to see where music goes for party music anyway.
That's true. And a lot of the popular music in the 2000s was like danceable, but a lot of the music of today is not as danceable.
Right. Yeah, how long, or I guess it's going to be up to the artist to produce those great dance songs again.
Right. I guess there are some artists doing it, like some of those new Dua Lipa songs that were for like the Barbie music with that disco fever feel. So, yeah.
Or maybe Martin Garrix and Calvin Harris and everybody else is gonna get bigger and become more mainstream.
Yeah, for sure. I myself start seeing myself like do little mini EDM sets at weddings, and I'm all for it. I love it. So, if a couple crafts a killer playlist, do you still recommend that they hire a DJ?
So it's kind of the question in the web developer space. Do you have WordPress or do you have Wix and Squarespace? So I'm gonna say I'm gonna give the political answer that it depends on what you want for your wedding. If it's only gonna be 10, 15 people and you're only gonna cut the cake, then yeah, why not have a Spotify playlist? Somebody's gonna have to manage it. But if you're in a mountain ski lodge in the middle of winter, then maybe you don't want to have 500 guests coming up to your reception. Then yeah, okay, then maybe you have your own playlist. But boy, the DJs really do so much more than just play music. They are managing the timeline. They're managing the flow. There's just so much more that DJs do than, as they say, turn knobs and push buttons.
Yep.
That I think if you have the budget to hire a professional DJ, then setting aside that budget, I personally think, just because I'm a music lover, that's going to be one of the top things on my list.
No, I love that answer. And that's really interesting that you bring up Wix and Squarespace and WordPress. Because my background is actually software development, and I've done a lot of website development and even on commercial websites, enterprise level stuff. But I would still recommend to people that they should use Wix or WordPress because it's just so much easier. Myself, like my blog is completely done in WordPress because it's just so much easier. And you can, I think, have a good, successful celebration with like 500 people without a DJ, but it'd just be easier if you had one. If you have the budget for it, yeah, I think you should definitely do it.
Yeah, I get asked a lot too. Should we have a wedding planner? And I'm like, I would at least have a wedding planner for the day of, because they take off so much pressure off of you.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing for the DJ. They take off so much pressure, just the organization, to keep things on time and in line. If you hire the right one, because we've all been to weddings where that hasn't happened. So it's just hiring the right DJ, and I'm glad to see over the years that DJs can make a full-time living from DJing, because DJs are such an important aspect of any wedding reception.
Yeah, for sure. Like, even my sister, she just got married like in 2022. And, me being a DJ and owning a DJ company, I probably could have just played the music myself. I have all the equipment, I have the playlists, but I still myself hired a DJ, being a DJ. So, someone from my own company, so that was awesome. But still, it was really nice having a professional there. Just alleviated that stress off of everybody, just having a dedicated professional. So I love that. And Like if your couple does have a killer playlist with your service and you help them plan with the perfect playlist, how can they communicate that to their DJ?
Well, I think anytime if they're creating their playlist, it's just really inserting their personality into the playlist. As an example, let's say that the couple has seen a lot of music concerts through the years. They've seen Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and you know Justin Timberlake, whatever. They want to have a playlist for cocktail hour and dinner of those concerts that they went to. Of course, why don't you have them create their own playlist for that? My thing is you have to give the DJ more leniency during the dancing time, because you could be the ultimate fan of Avril Lavigne, but if your guests aren't into that type of music, or maybe you're into heavy metal, then you incorporate that into your ceremony, into your cocktail hour. There's instrumental versions, but for the dancing part, I highly recommend a limited number of must plays and let the DJ read the room, find out what people are going to dance to, and then play that music.
Beautiful. I love that. Just communication with your DJ and just going with that like understanding and those expectations. And so we kind of talked about like how crazy some of the newer music is and like with TikTok. Like what advice do you give for DJs going forward to like keep up to date with like all the new music?
Boy, keeping up with the new music. So Billboard teamed up with TikTok to have a top 50 playlist. It's funny, there's probably 20 places that I'm checking. So one of the cool tools is Shazam. So you can narrow that down by location, figure out what songs are being Shazammed in your area. Of course, Billboard, but there are a lot of based on sales and so many different factors that it's pretty much rendered it useless at times, especially when an artist like Taylor Swift or Drake really drops an album, then the top 12 songs are their songs from their album. It's kind of renders it useless. But one of my favorite tools has really been Amazon, just because it breaks down the categories by genre. So I can go in there if you have a couple that's figuring out, let's say they're into alt rock, then you can go in there and find out what are the new songs and what's trending right now by that genre.
Awesome. I love that. So having more than one source is a good strategy. Um,
Absolutely. Yep.
I know so many Taylor Swift songs are on there. I think that's the other debate. It's like how much Taylor Swift do I throw it in the dance party before people get annoyed?
Well,
How
then you start with "Shake It Off." If nobody responds, then then you know to do a right turn.
I even saw something saying that people are so bombarded with Taylor Swift and their day-to-day interactions and their social media that they don't want to they want to limit the amount of Taylor Swift. Like at a party, like they're trying to escape their everyday life, so more Taylor Swift is maybe too much. That hasn't been my
And
experience. I think people want to dance to Shake It Off and we all have fun with it.
absolutely. And I hate to break it to you, but I heard rumors that Taylor Swift's in negotiations with the NFL to do the halftime show next year, so she may blow up again.
Yeah, I know there was like some football lovers that were like getting really tired with her romance. So
Right,
having her do the halftime show would be just a more snub in their face.
right.
Well, you had your experience first as a wedding DJ. So has like the number of slow dance songs like increased or decreased since your time as a wedding DJ?
Oh, it's definitely by far decreased. So many DJs out there are. I can't believe it when I hear that they don't want to play any slow songs. And I would challenge DJs to at least play a couple. If you're going to do a 2 hour set, then do two slow songs, because you forget that you're creating moments not only for the couple, but there's older people, seasoned people that are in the crowd, and some of
Season.
them, maybe they want to dance with their granddaughter, or dance with their niece, or you want to be able to create those moments, family moments, to you know create those or strengthen those relationships that they have. So I think slow dances, even especially at weddings, are very important. And besides that, it's kind of like it's your reset. Even if you're playing 15 all party dance songs, it's your reset. Now you can go into any style of music after that reset.
That's perfect. And yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like the really good reset for genre or BPM. You're all the way at 130, then you're like, oh, I want to go back down to like 85. Then slow dance, and then yeah, any song. It's a perfect segue.
Right.
So, so I already asked you kind of a fiery question. Another one. So another debate between DJs is kind of like, what's more important, like mixing or transition, like song selection or like the mixing, the transitions. If you had to like assign 10 points to either skill, what would you assign it to?
The songs that you select are a 10. I think that you can be the worst mixer in the you could be the worst mixer in the world, but if you play the right songs at the right time, I think that that's really what being a DJ is. And mixing, it's funny, I heard a DJ talk the other day where they're saying, why would you want to go from Avril Lavigne to Garth Brooks to um, Third Eye Blind? You have to have the right music selection. We all know that all of those songs can be bangers that's going to fill the dance floor, but you have to mix those and make it make sense. So that's also important. So I give that a 6 or 7 as well, because those transitions, you don't want to keep the when you're mixing, the technique of when you stop, you do a hard stop to go into a next song. Imagine that you're on the dance floor. How would you react if that's what you kept doing? That would drive me nuts. So make sure that you have the skills of whatever it is of scratching out, or just how you're going to mix out. You know, know before, when you go to your wedding or to your event, how and when you're going to mix out particular songs that you're playing every single week anyway. So yeah.
No, I love that. And like mixing is also kind of like telling a story, and like knowing, and the songs you choose to tell that story are really important. And I think that we don't live in a vacuum. It's never like a contest of like only an MC, only a mixer, only a song selector, only a lighting pro. We kind of have to balance all of those things. But yeah,
Yeah, I got in an argument once recently because I said music knowledge is the most important aspect of a wedding DJ, and so I got into some discussions where they were saying I could play the worst music, but I could keep everybody out on the dance floor with my MC skills, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
I played in a wedding band before I was a DJ, and to tell you, like, we weren't the most polished. We were kind of still newer and working on that. But people overwhelmingly told us that we were better than other bands that they saw. Like, even we were the opener sometimes, and people said we were better than some of the other cover bands because of the songs we played. And we didn't like have cool transitions, and we obviously didn't like mix anything with a turntable or no scratching. But like, it just the songs played makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think that there's this moment that every DJ has had where the dance floor is like packed, and then their mind just goes blank, and they're like, what song do I play next? And so what advice do you give to DJs that find themselves in that situation?
So when I was DJing, I always had several CDs sitting there. So you could have your crates. I would have a crate of, oh my, OMG crate. That's what I would have. Your ultimate songs. But for me, I would say the sing along songs. That would be my go to if I have no idea what I'm gonna play next. you could always mix in a sing along song. You could mix in your Sweet Caroline, or you can mix in Bohemian Rhapsody, or you can mix in, even Any Man of Mine, depending on, the crowd. Just have that crate of sing along songs that if you have no idea, people aren't going to care. They're going to be singing along to it.
Absolutely. And sing-alongs work for people of all generations too. I'm
Yep.
so happy when I play at a school dance and like if I play a sing along and all the kids are singing along, I'm like, yeah, like Piano Man or Don't Stop Believin'.
Yeah.
And so another question of advice towards DJs, like, how would you advise them to like organize their music, or what's an organizing music tip you have for them?
Boy, I don't use this service, but I would connect with the guys at Crate Hackers. But I love organizing it by eras and by genres. So if I'm trying to figure out, because at a wedding reception, typically you start at your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, and then you're working your way up to newer music. And so having those in those folders, I think that would, or those crates, I think that would be helpful. But then also to not create that OMG moment. If you're in a dance mix, you're playing 90s dance, then you're having that crate, then you can kind of sift through going through those by BPM, but then in that same genre, so that way you're not having to really fumble through everything. But not only that, I was thinking about genres as well. Um, you want to sort it by, like I was saying, by BPM, and then just have the. You don't want 5,000 songs in there. I even get intimidated by 100 songs. For me, I would have 50 songs in there, so that way you can really pick what's trending right now and what is going to work really well.
Yeah, I think that 50 songs is a good amount, and if you just have hundreds, then I think you're just gonna still be like, what do I play next?
Hmm.
Guess decision paralysis for sure.
Right.
So, is there a particular song or banger that you're excited about right now?
Boy, that's a tough one. I have to think about that.
Uh,
The newer music. Um, what I get excited about is collaboration. So there's one right now that's out that has Enrique Iglesias and Miranda Lambert. Those are the kind of the things that I get excited about, where it's really unexpected, but
yeah,
man, it's a great love song. And then I love how Luke Combs redid the Fast Car song, but then they had the duet version. So I just really want something that's unexpected. That's what I foresee for the future. Just because there's so much music, you figure 200,000 songs every single day are being added to streaming. So
yep.
it's so overwhelming that yeah, that's when I get excited, when artists come out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, me too. That is always a lot of fun. So, in closing, at the very beginning I mentioned like a lot of the cool projects that you're involved with. So, is there something you're particularly excited about that you're working on right now?
I would say, the biggest thing that I love is the weekly newsletter, and then I send one out at the last day of the month of all of the trending songs and the new songs from the prior month. I think that's what, a blog is a blog, or a website's a website, but to keep up with the new music, that's one of the things that I love, researching the new music, finding out what's trending. Like, Murder on the Dance Floor is really taking off right now. Finding out what those hidden gems are, and seeing, as an example, just seeing songs from the 80s or the 70s or the 60s that are coming back, outside of movies that we know that are going to be popular, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Besides those, just finding those hidden gems that, I think the greatest feeling as a DJ is when somebody comes up and says, I forgot about this song. This song's awesome. You're awesome. Instead of playing the Yaz by Usher that we know everybody's going to dance to, but finding those hidden gems that's what I get excited about.
That is awesome. So if DJs wanted to like subscribe to your newsletter, how can they do so?
Well, they can just go to our website and or they could just Google wedding music letter, and we're going to be right at the top.
Awesome. And I'll have a link in the description below. And Matt, what's the best way for people to follow you?
We're My Wedding Songs. So three main places: myweddingsongs.com. That's for the website. The podcast is the Wedding Songs Podcast, and the newsletter is the Wedding Music Letter.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Hey, thanks, Daryl. I really appreciate it, and wishing you all the best as well.
Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.